In the icy darkness of the far north, where winter winds whisper through ancient forests and snow-capped mountains loom over misty valleys, stories are passed from one generation to the next. Around crackling fires and beneath star-laden skies, these tales are more than mere entertainment. They are echoes of wisdom, caution, and the human longing for meaning. Among all these legends, one story stands apart: the story of a god who did not chase after gold nor crave endless power. Instead, he sought a single elusive prize: wisdom. His name is Odin, often called the Allfather, the father of all gods and men. But do not imagine that Odin was born the mightiest in the 9 realms. His journey to greatness was not one of privilege, but of relentless sacrifice and the insatiable hunger for understanding. Odin's legend is not merely about might or magic. It is about what one is willing to give up in the pursuit of true knowledge. Picture, if you will, the resolve it takes to suspend yourself upside down from the world tree, Yggdrasil, for 9 days and 9 nights. No food, no water, no comfort, only the unyielding grip of pain and the chill of the cosmic winds. All for the hope of glimpsing the secrets hidden within the runes, the ancient symbols that shape reality. Would you have the courage to endure such a trial when the outcome is uncertain and the cost is so great? Odin did exactly that. And as extraordinary as this act was, it was merely the beginning of his quest. Every dawn, Odin sends forth his 2 ravens, Hugin and Minin. Their names mean thought and memory. These are not mere spies, nor are they simply messengers. They are the embodiment of Odin's desire to learn, to see, to understand. They soar across all the worlds, observing, listening, returning each evening to perch on his shoulders and whisper all they have found into his ears. For Odin, the greatest terror is not a monstrous enemy or a world-ending doom. His deepest fear is that one day, Hugin and Munin will not come back. Because without thought and memory, without the ability to reason and to remember, what is left of even a god but an empty shell? From his high seat upon the throne of Hlidskjalf, Odin surveys the 9 worlds. He can see all that unfolds: the laughter of children, the schemes of giants, the approach of storms, both literal and metaphorical. Yet, he does not wield this vision to dominate or control. He seeks to understand. He gathers knowledge not as a weapon, but as a shield, a guide, and a hope. Odin understands something that many in our own world have forgotten. True power does not come from muscle or money. True power is the deep, often uncomfortable comprehension of the world and oneself. It is the wisdom to see beyond the surface, to perceive the hidden connections, to anticipate what is to come, and to accept what cannot be changed. Perhaps the most famous story about Odin is also the most misunderstood. It is the story of the price he paid for the water of wisdom. In the shadow of Yggdrasil, beneath the roots of the world tree, lies the well of Mimir. Its waters hold the secrets of fate, the answers to questions unasked, the clarity to see what others fear to know. But Mimir's well does not give freely. To drink from it, Odin was required to offer a sacrifice. He gave his own eye. This is not simply a tale of loss or a gruesome myth. It is a story of choice. Odin knew the future. He had seen the coming of Ragnarok, the final battle, the twilight of the gods, the destruction and rebirth of the world. He could have turned away, could have chosen the bliss of ignorance, the comfort of not knowing. But Odin chose wisdom, even when it meant pain, even when it meant living with knowledge that would haunt him for the rest of time. What did Odin do with this wisdom? Did he use it to secure his own victory, to ensure his own survival? No. He used it to prepare. He trained the bravest of fallen warriors, the Einherjar, so that when the end came, those who remained would be ready. He did not seek to prevent fate, but to embrace it, to face it head-on and to plant the seeds of hope for the world that would emerge from the ashes. Odin's sacrifices remind us that wisdom is never free. In our own lives, we may not be asked to give an eye or hang from a tree, but every true lesson comes at a price. Sometimes it is time, the hours spent reading, listening, reflecting. Sometimes it is comfort, the willingness to step outside what is familiar, to challenge our own beliefs. Sometimes it is pride, the humility to admit that we do not know, that we must ask, that we must learn. In the age of instant answers, where 1,000 questions can be solved with a quick search, it is easy to confuse information with wisdom. We live in a remarkable era where knowledge is more accessible than ever before. But Odin's story reminds us the path to true understanding is not paved with shortcuts. It is a journey, a process of seeking, questioning, and sometimes sacrificing. To lead others, as Odin did, is not to have all the answers, but to never stop asking questions. The best leaders, and the wisest among us, are those who remain students, open to new ideas, able to change their minds. They do not fear uncertainty or shy away from uncomfortable truths. Instead, they embrace them, knowing that the pursuit of wisdom often brings with it moments of pain, loss, and doubt. Yet these are the very experiences that shape us, refine us, and prepare us for whatever challenges lie ahead. Odin's legend endures not because of his power, but because of his relentless search for meaning. Through him, we learn that true greatness is not measured by what we possess, but by what we are willing to give up in our search for truth. It is a lesson as relevant today as it was in the icy nights of ancient Scandinavia. Imagine, for a moment, standing in a bustling modern city. Skyscrapers pierce the clouds, digital screens flash with endless streams of data. People rush through their lives connected by invisible networks. Everything is within reach, everything is possible. Yet, in the midst of this abundance, the challenge remains: to turn knowledge into wisdom, to differentiate what is merely known from what is truly understood. Odin's story speaks to us in this world of distractions and noise. He teaches us that the quest for wisdom is not a matter of gathering more and more facts, but of going deeper, of reflecting, of questioning our assumptions, of being willing to pay the price for insight. We are all, in some way, asked to make sacrifices for what we value. Sometimes, it is the sacrifice of comfort for growth. Sometimes, it is the willingness to confront truths that unsettle us. Sometimes, it is the courage to look at the future, as Odin did, and accept its uncertainties. The example of Odin also reveals that preparing for the future is not about guaranteeing victory, but about ensuring that, no matter what happens, we are ready to face it with dignity, courage, and hope. Even knowing that Ragnarok would bring his own end, Odin never stopped preparing, never stopped learning, never stopped leading by example. This is perhaps the greatest lesson he offers us, that true wisdom is not about avoiding pain or escaping fate, but about meeting life's challenges head-on. It is about understanding that every ending is also a beginning, that every loss opens the door to new growth. The world needs leaders who are willing to sacrifice for wisdom, leaders who are not afraid to say, "I do not know, but I will find out." Leaders who are humble enough to listen to others, brave enough to admit their mistakes, and wise enough to keep learning. These are the qualities that make a difference, not only in myth, but in reality. So, as the sun sets over Valhalla, and Odin looks out across the horizon, the question comes to each of us: are we willing to pay the price for wisdom? Are we ready to seek out truths that may be uncomfortable, to leave the safety of what we think we know, and become better versions of ourselves? Because, as Odin has shown through every sacrifice and every lesson, this is the path of the true leader. Not the one who knows everything, but the one who is always learning, always growing, always striving to understand more. And so if this story has touched you, if the legend of Odin has sparked a desire to learn, to question, to seek, remember that wisdom is not a destination, but a journey. It begins with curiosity, it grows with sacrifice, and it flourishes in those who never stop searching. May you find the courage to pursue your own wisdom, to embrace the challenges that come with it, and to lead others by example. For the world needs not just those who know, but those who are wise. And may you always remember, wisdom is not measured by how much you know, but by your willingness to learn, to change, and to see the world with new eyes.